What's good, John? Welcome to another top 10 video. This time, we are doing my top 10. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do a top 13 this year, because why the hell not? 13 is my favorite number, so fuck it. We're doing the top 13 movies of 2021, ladies and gentlemen. So, without further ado, let's just jump right in. So, number 13 on my list is going to be Demon Slayer Mugen Train. This movie fucking slapped. And also, now this one is also still fresh in my memory because, as you guys know, Demon Slayer Mugen Train just recently finished up airing, the entertainment is going on right now, but recently the anime, the TV version of Mugen Train aired. I aired, on TV and Crunchyroll and everything. So I was able to rewatch Mugen Train, so it's more fresher in my mind than if I just watched this right after not watching it since I saw it in theaters. But bro, this movie fucking slaps. The art and animation from this film, my god, bro, legit. UFO table, ufotable, whatever, how the fuck you call them, these guys built different, man. The art and animation from the fights is legendary, especially with Rangenku and I'm slipping on this dude's name, but from the end of the movie, and bro, Yuki Kajira's score. My god, this woman don't fucking miss. You guys know she's of course the same woman does the score for SAO, and bro, you guys know how much I love her music. I love SAO soundtrack. I love the Race soundtrack. This movie is no different. And what we've been hearing from Entertainment District, the same still applies there, man. The art and animation is absolutely amazing. The music is spectacular. Just the bangers, especially when we get to the final fight, bro, and the ending. My god. I mentioned this in my review, but bro, that ending turned Rangenku into one of my all-time favorite characters of Demon Slayer, man. That fucking fight was legendary, bro. And I gotta give a major props to the voice acting, not only from the English dub, from Zach, Bryce, and Alquez, and the rest of the dub cast. I gotta also give a shout out to the Japanese cast as well. Both of them did, but I gotta top of the dub real quick. I mentioned this. I know I probably did mention this in my review of Mugen Train when I saw it, because I did watch it dubbed. But I gotta mention this again. Zach, my god, man, this man probably gives his best performance as Tanjiro, man. That last scene with Tanjiro, like I said, I want to stay from giving out spoilers because in case you guys still haven't seen it yet or have watched the TV version of it yet. But bro, that man's speech when he goes off, man, when he's going off, bro, Zach goes in, man. Listen, when I was kind of curious to see how it was in the Japanese, because when the TV version comes out, I'm going to watch in Japanese because the dub isn't available yet, for that one. But I think the Japanese version was great, but I think Zach did a slightly better job, and I think I would have to give him the slight edge of that. And man, just everything they did with the emotions, with the dreams and everything in Mugen Train was just spectacular, man. Seriously, if you guys still have not seen if you still have not catched Mugen Train, if you have seen season 1, what are you doing? Please go watch it. Watch the TV version if you have to. Watch the movie version, whichever you prefer, man. Both versions fucking slap. And Mugen Train, man, without that, I would probably say this is one of my all-time favorite anime movies, if you want to call it that. This movie fucking slapped, and the art and animation was absolutely legendary, bro. And that speech from Tanjiro and that fight between Rangenku, man, bro, that's just gonna be living rent-free in my head for years to come on. UFO table went hard with this movie, man. And from what we've seen of Entertainment District so far, they're gonna keep going, man. And bro, Entertainment District right now, fucking banger, man. That was fucking awesome. So yeah, that is why Mugen Train is number 13 on my list. Number 12 on my list, this is the reason why I did a top 13. The Last Duel. I finally watched the film a couple weeks ago, at least at the time where I'm recording this. And I absolutely loved it. I obviously heard about the movie. I saw a couple trailers of it. I was like, oh, Ridley Scott. Okay, I'll probably give it a watch. And then, of course, I found that the movie got tanked in the box office. Chris Stuckman did his video on it. And so ever since when I was basically just waiting for it to come out on Blu-ray so I can finally watch it and come out on digital so I can finally watch which happened. I rented it off Amazon, only to find out HBO Max just added it today. A little salty with it, but at the same time, I'm glad I didn't wait, because otherwise I probably wouldn't be able to do these top 10s while I'm still in my house. I would have to have done these in the dorm, and I wanted to get these done while I was still here, man, just to keep the background consistent. But Yeah, man, this movie is absolutely spectacular. Like, this movie should not have bombed. You can mention the the marketing for this movie was pretty bad. You could probably also blame the fact on how you have SJWs, other dumbasses bitching about this movie when they haven't even seen it yet. They're like, oh, how dare these white men make a movie about rape? How dare the writers behind Good Will Hunting write a movie about rape? How dare Ridley Scott, the man behind Alien and Blade Runner? How dare he direct this film? How dare they? And then you watch the movie and it's like it does. I would say it does a decent representation of like rape and its themes and everything, man. And which first off, I got a couple things I got praised. This might be one of the longer segments because I actually have to talk on this movie for the first time. I didn't do a review for this. First off, I gotta say the performances were great. Matt Damon was fantastic. Adam Driver was fantastic. Ben Affleck, the handful of times we saw him, he was fantastic. The woman who plays the lead, I'm slipping on her name, she was absolutely spectacular. Like, seriously, her performance, especially during the actual rape scene, was amazing, man. Seriously, especially when we see it from her perspective. That's another thing I gotta love about the movie. Is I love the subtle differences from when we see certain scenes from different perspectives and how each one of the characters viewed it. Like the kiss scene, when we see it from Matt Damon's perspective versus how Adam Driver sees it versus how Matt Damon's wife sees it, or at least his character's wife, I should say. How they all see different scenes, how the rape itself was portrayed. I thought that one was really interesting. How that one, because there was some actual shit that was like not in Adam Driver's version, that was actually in her version of it, and it made it look way worse in her version. So, regardless of that, man. It was just interesting seeing like how the rape was actually portrayed as the movie claims it. So that was shocking to watch. And then, of course, the fight scenes themselves, man, my God, are absolutely spectacular. Seriously, practical fantasy films built different. Like I said, this is coming from someone that hasn't really even watched Lord of the Rings, which I'm sure that one was also practical fights as well. I haven't even seen Gladiator yet. This is kind of like my introduction to this sort of thing. But, bro, the fight scenes are absolutely amazing. They're beautifully shot. The sound design is spectacular. The choreography is amazing. And the gore. Oh, the gore is absolutely spectacular. Especially when we get to the actual last duel itself between Adam Driver and Matt Damon. Bro, that fight is fucking awesome, man. It's shot amazingly. The choreography is spectacular. The gore is amazing. Seriously, man, if you have slipped on the last, whether because you just didn't know it was coming out, or if you're some dumbass millennial too attached to his phone, shout out to Ridley Scott, or whatever the case may be, man, please do yourself a favor and go watch The Last Duel. Rent it on Redbox. Rent the Blu-ray if you got a rental place near you. Go watch it on Prime. Watch it on HBO Max since they just added it. Please just watch The Last Duel. This movie needs to get more recognition than it does, and it did not deserve the bomb. This is a movie that I'm not saying it should have made $1 billion like fucking No Way Home or something, but this movie should have at the very least made a profit, at least same as much as House of Gucci made, man. Seriously, watch this movie. Please, it's fucking amazing. Especially if you're someone that likes that middle-aged type shit. You like your gladiators, you like that kind of shit. Please watch this film. We need more. I would be down if we got more practical, big, epic middle-aged films like this more often, man. We probably aren't because, of course, this movie tanked. But, bro, I'd be down to watch another movie like this, man. Seriously, The Last Duel is fucking spectacular. And I also just love how they just use rape in general and how they show it off. I thought that was really good because you see other movies how they use rape, like I mentioned in my Scream review. Black Christmas 2019! You guys know I mentioned this on Twitter. I thought how cheaply I thought they used rape. Like, Jesus Christ, I think even SAO used rape better than this shit. The fucking Black Christmas 2019, if I'm being serious. Yeah. I love how they use rape, and they don't use it to be like, men bad. You know, they don't do any of that shit, which I love. But they also show up The Last Duel as not like this big, epic thing, you know, that should be championed. We're like this, it's showing off more from the woman's perspective. Like, this is fucked up. Like, you know, her life is in the hand of these guys that are just mostly doing this for honor and their own honor and pride and glory and shit. Fascinating shit, man. Like, and seriously, like I said, the performances were spectacular. I hope the main lead woman, she gets an Oscar nomination because she was fucking spectacular in the film. Seriously, for the love of God, please watch The Last Duel. Please, I am begging you. This movie is amazing. It needs more attention towards it. Please watch it. Anyway, that's me done talking with The Last Duel. Fucking amazing film. Please watch it. Anyway, that is why it is number 12 on my list. Number 11 on my list is The King's Man. This movie's fucking fantastic. I think I mentioned this in my review where I think this is probably one of my favorite Kingsman movies. I think I definitely like this more than Godzilla, and I would, like I said, I believe I mentioned in my review where I would have to rewatch the first one to know if I like this more than the original or not. But bro, the fights in this film are without a doubt the best in this series. Like, listen, the first film had some amazing fights in its own right, but yo, there's the different camera angles they use and everything in this film. I would just say the choreography and the fights themselves I thought were the best in terms of Kingsman fights. I think they were the best here in The King's Man. Love the fights. I love, what's his name, who was like the villain for the first half, that's played by the Lizard from TASM. I thought he was fantastic. I mentioned in my review, I wish he was the main villain throughout the entire film, rather than just being like a little side villain for like the first half, because of how good he was and how much he just stole the show, man. But yeah, man, I love Kingsman. The Kingsman was fucking fantastic. Definitely better than I was expecting, because my hype for this movie kind of died down because it constantly got delayed and shit for the pandemic and everything. But yeah, definitely check out The Kingsman if you guys still haven't checked it out yet. It's still out in theaters, at least as far as I know. But yeah, Kingsman, or at least at the time of recording. God knows when I'll actually get these videos up. But yeah, Kingsman, fucking amazing film. Check it out if you're a fan of the Kingsman movies, man. It's absolutely amazing. Anyway, guys, that is why it is number 11 on my list. Now, to the actual top 10. Number 10 on my list is A Quiet Place Part 2. This is without doubt one of the best horror movies I've seen in recent memory, man. This movie is fucking spectacular. I just loved the over performances from Emily Blunt, John Krasinski, I think his name. I'm probably slipping on his name. His direction was absolutely spectacular. I love the characters. I love how much it focused on giving more focus on the deaf daughter. I'm slipping on these characters' names. I haven't seen the movies I saw in theaters. Okay, cut me some slack. But so I love what they did with her and like the guy from Batman Begins and almost all of Nolan's. I noticed this guy's in like almost all of Nolan's movies since Batman Begins. He's like in almost all of Nolan's films. I found weirdly, but he was great. The rest of the cast was great, man. And just I love the designs of the creatures in this film, man. And this one I just love. It's just a fantastic horror film that I definitely recommend you guys check out. And I definitely thought this one was better than the original, man. Seriously, this movie is fucking amazing. You like your horror and you like A Quiet Place, if for some reason you still haven't seen the second one, definitely check it out, man. It's fucking amazing. So that's the why number 10 on my list. Number 9 on my list is Black Widow. Now, if y'all guys remember when I made my review for this film, you guys know what I thought. So you guys know I mentioned in my review that this is what Captain Marvel should have been. And I still hold true to that statement to this day, man. They actually have good characters, a good story, good villains, everything Captain Marvel didn't have. But, Scarlett Johansson is fantastic in the film. Of course, Florence Pugh as Yelena is one of my all-time favorite MCU characters now. She's absolutely amazing. I loved her in Hawkeye, man. And she's just spectacular here in Black Widow. Let's look at the movie's name. She was great. The rest of the supporting cast I thought was great. Especially the guy that plays the Red Guardian. He was absolutely spectacular. I loved him. He was hilarious. The opening, I mentioned how much I praise and love the opening. And I wish more movies got because like I said, like I mentioned in my review, I think the last time we got like that kind of like an actual opening, for an MCU movie was like The Incredible Hulk back in 2008. At least that I can think of off the top of my head. Man. We need more MCU movies with openings like that, man. First times they've done it, they've been absolutely spectacular, man. Seriously, Marvel, Kevin Feige, get some directors to keep doing this more for your movies, man. This shit's good. But that was great. The fights were awesome. Taskmaster, I thought, was cool. I thought the overall villain of the film was decent enough. I really did enjoy the finale where you have Natasha facing off against him before he goes off with Taskmaster, and yeah, man, Yelena, like I said, without a doubt, steals the show, and she was definitely the highlight of the film, man. And yeah, Black Widow, spectacular MCU movie, definitely I would say one of my favorite. I think this is actually even in my top 10 favorite MCU movies now that I think about it. I think I put it in there. But yeah, Black Widow, fucking love it, man, fantastic. And that is why it's number 9 on the list. Number 8 on my list is No Time to Die, the last of Daniel Craig's Bond films, and what a way to go. This movie was absolutely spectacular, man. I would definitely say out of all the Daniel Craig Bond films, this is definitely my third favorite, but that's also, but by the way, I still haven't really seen Spectre or Quantum of Solace in God knows how long, so that may change whenever I find time to finally rewatch those two. But this movie was absolutely amazing. I love what they did, how they ended everything. Q was absolutely amazing. Daniel Craig probably gave his best performance as Bond in this film, man. The ending was absolutely spectacular. I really dug the villain for this film, especially once we get to around the end of the film, man. That was great. And there's so much more I love this movie, but that would be getting more into spoiler territory, which I don't want to get into here, man. But yeah, man. Like I mentioned in my review, this is definitely one of my favorite Bond films, and I'm gonna miss Daniel Craig, man. Seriously, like I said, he's been my Bond. He's basically been Bond throughout my entire life. Like I said before my review, I was 6 years old when Casino Royale came out. Now I'm 22, gonna be 23 this year, man. So yeah, it's kind of crazy to know that this is finally the end of an era for Daniel Craig, and he is now done as Bond. I'm definitely curious to know who they're gonna get next. I mean, Christopher Nolan has mentioned in interviews that he would love to make a Bond film, so who knows, maybe he's next. I'd be down for that if you ask me, man. But yeah, No Time to Die, phenomenal Bond film, phenomenal film in general, and I love all the callbacks he made back to Casino Royale. Q was always a highlight whenever he's on screen, man, and the one-liners from Daniel Craig's Bond was spectacular, man. Seriously, fucking love this film, man. And I love the relationship between him and the main lead. I forgot, like I said, I'm slipping on all these characters' names. I'm terrible at names, but she was fantastic as well. And I love the relationship and what goes on with her character in the film. Spectacular. Check it out if you haven't, especially if you're into Bond and Daniel Craig's films. But yeah, that is why it's number 8 on my list. Number 7 on my list is Venom: Let There Be Carnage. This movie is just fucking awesome. This movie right here is peak cinema. I love Tom Hardy as Eddie. Him arguing with Venom is spectacular. Especially, like, I love that one scene where they're like, when they're trying to figure out what Cleese is telling them, and he's like, "Oh, I know, that's a tree, idiot." And he's like taking control of his body, like, "I think I'm Pablo Picasso." No! That was awesome, man. Just Venom as a whole. The Carnage I thought was awesome, played by Woody Harrelson. He was spectacular in the film, man. I loved him. He was absolutely amazing as Carnage, man. Tom Hardy was great, and I love that one scene with and I mentioned this in my review, where they actually show up Cleese's backstory, but they kind of doing this more like drawn up style, which I thought was a really cool and interesting way to show off Cleese's backstory, and I thought that was really interesting and really cool and creative, and I really love that, man. The fights were spectacular, man. Venom is always a highlight. He's one of my favorite Marvel characters, my favorite all-time Spidey villain, if you ask me, man. And yeah, post-credit scene was fucking lit, even though they kind of cock tease us after we saw what happens in No Way Home. But whatever, maybe who knows? Maybe something else will happen with that when Venom 3 becomes a thing, But yeah, Venom: Let There Be Carnage, spectacular film. Definitely like this more than the first Venom, and I'm excited to see what they have in store for us for Venom 3. Looking forward to whenever that eventually comes out. And yeah, man, Tom Hardy as Eddie, man, it's fucking spectacular, man. I love the banter between him and Venom. It's fucking awesome. Anyway, guys, that is why it's number 7 on my list. Number 6 on my list is Last Night in Soho. My God, did this movie surprise me. Like, this is a movie that I more or less saw on a limb, mostly just because, Anya Taylor-Joy's in it. She's hot. I'd like to look at her. But the trailer did also intrigue me, and bro, this movie was fucking awesome. Like, I gotta say, the performances from both Anya Taylor-Joy and the other lead, I'm slipping on her name, and I feel bad for her because she was so fucking awesome. I thought she was great as well. Anya Taylor-Joy is a fantastic. I thought what happens at the end of the film was absolutely spectacular and just crazy. Did not see that coming. I thought the ending overall was awesome. Although it does definitely, if you think about it a little bit, it does start to like put some holes in how this exactly would make sense. But besides that, man, it's fucking awesome. The dream sequences I loved, especially once we figure out what actually happened with Anya Taylor-Joy's character as we progress throughout the film, and with Sandy. I really like that. I loved the way it's filmed, how trippy it was. I think I mentioned this in my review. It was like I forget what I meant. I think I mentioned this movie was like Suspiria mixed with some other horror film. I can't remember what I said, but yeah, man, I love this film. It was definitely a surprise hit for me, and definitely probably one of my favorite horror movies in recent memory. So yeah, definitely check it out. And this was basically, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but for Brits, because it was kind of the same thing as a love letter to the 60s. Kind of. That's the way it progressed. You question about that, but same general concept, man. And Yeah, man, definitely check this movie. If you guys still have not seen Last Night in Soho, you like your horror movies, definitely check this one out. It's fucking awesome, man. Seriously, it's fucking legendary, man. I love this film. Spectacular. Like I said, the performances in this movie were absolutely spectacular, man. Especially from our two leads. So that is why it's number 6 on my list. Number 5 on my list is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This movie is just a banger. The soundtrack slaps. Simu Liu is absolutely amazing. Tony Leon is amazing as the main villain. I love Zai Ling. She's another one of my new favorite characters of the MCU. Katie, I thought was over really good. I thought Awkwafina did a great job with her character. The cinematography of the film is God's here. But would you expect anything less from the same guy that was the cinematographer for Spider-Man 2? No, you would not. I remember when I looked at it and I found that I was like, oh, that's why Shang-Chi was like the best looking MCU movie. It's from the same guy that did Spider-Man 2. No wonder it looks so good. But the cinematography is amazing. The fight choreography is spectacular. The bus sequence, my God. The bus. The fucking bus, man. That bus fight, without one of the best fights in the MCU, period. That fight is fucking legendary, man. Like, I loved it. The soundtrack was amazing. The finale was great as well. I love Simu Liu as Shang-Chi. I can't wait to see what's next in store for Shang-Chi. I'm praying that the sequels, when they reintroduce Iron Fist and Colleen Wing, because, you know, the actress that plays Colleen Wing mentions us, she actually, like, turned down a role for Shang-Chi because she wanted to keep playing as Colleen Wing, which I was happy to see someone finally acknowledge continuity from the Netflix series. So who knows, maybe for the sequel, that's when they bring in Iron Fist, since we already have Wilson Fisk coming back for Hawkeye, and, you see No Way Home, you know what happens there, so who knows, maybe we'll see Iron Fist in Shang-Chi 2. I'm praying. Hopefully. But yeah, man, fucking fantastic film. Without doubt, one of my favorite MCU movies, and this is definitely, without doubt, one of my favorites of Phase 4 so far, and without doubt, one of my all-time favorite MCU films, man. Seriously, this film fucking slaps. Can't wait for the sequel. Because you know it's happening. Which I think it's already been confirmed, if I remember correctly. But either way, I'm hyped. So that is why it's number 5 on my list. Number 4 on my list is The Suicide Squad. This movie is also fantastic. James Gunn, man, my God, what a legend. This man got to give Disney the middle finger, and they still came crawling back to him for Guardians 3. And man, this movie itself is fantastic. First off, of course, you got John Cena's Peacemaker. I still have yet to see the first episode of Peacemaker yet. It literally just dropped yesterday. Haven't had the chance to, because I'm literally moving back to my dorms tomorrow. So I haven't had a chance to see it. I'll watch it once I get back to the dorms and give you guys my first impression. By the time this video's already up, that would already be up. And maybe I review the entire series, depending on how long this takes to get me to upload. It's edit and upload them, so yeah. But anyway, I love John Cena's Peacemaker. He was great. Idris Elba was spectacular as well. Margot Robbie was, of course, amazing as always as Harley Quinn. And yeah, man, just how ridiculously gory the film is. And this movie uses that R rating to its fullest, man. And this movie is just so much batshit insanity, man. And it's just so fucking awesome. Like I said before, this is just like the biggest fuck you to cancel culture, which you guys know I love to see, man. You love to see that, man. And this is just, without a doubt, a phenomenal comic book movie. Without a doubt, one of the best in the DCEU, man. And yeah, I hope James Gunn does come back to do another Suicide Squad film if he's down for it, man. But because I love what he did here, man. And keep up with the R rating. I want that gore. The gore is awesome, man. Just, oh my God, just love the banter between the different teammates, of course, between Peacemaker and Idris Elba's character. I'm slipping on the character's name, because of course I am. They were awesome, man. Just that whole scene where they're basically just firing off at different people. We find out what these guys really were. Was fucking awesome, man. The ending, the final showdown was spectacular, man. The gore and everything was amazing. Peacemaker is John Cena. You guys know I love him because he's played by John Cena. You guys know John Cena's my favorite wrestler. So yes, I'm a little biased in that front, but hey, he was awesome in the film, and I can't wait to see what the first episode of Peacemaker is, because from the trailer, it looks like it's going to be fucking batshit insanity once again, just like the Suicide Squad, man. And yeah, man, definitely check out the Suicide Squad if you haven't already. It's already back up on HBO Max. And yeah, man, the movie is just a fucking banger, man. And that is why it's number 4 on my list. Number 3 on my list, another DC film. I don't usually put extended cuts into my top 10s, but I made an exception for this one. The Snyder Cut. Zack Snyder's Justice League, man, this movie just absolutely so good, man. Like, seriously. Listen, you guys don't remember me. You guys have been OG subscribers. You guys know I love the theatrical cut of Justice League. In fact, when I first saw the movie, I gave it a 10 out of 10. Then when I went back and rewatched where I saw Snark, I'm like, I still really enjoy it, but I'm like, yeah, let me drop that rating a couple points. But, yeah, I like the theatrical cut still thing. I love the brunch running joke. That's just me. But obviously, the Snyder Cut is far more superior. Batfleck and Henry Cavill, and possibly their last performances ever, were fucking amazing. And Doomsday was incredible, man. The black suit, Superman was amazing. Henry Cavill, my God. So fucking good, Superman. Please stay! Please! DC, Warner, pay this man whatever the fuck he wants. Just keep Henry Cavill as our Superman. Please. Batfleck, we know he's gone. We know Ben Affleck, he's gone. Damn you, Matt Damon, but hey. I kid, but I'm like, I wish he got to stay, man. I wish he got to keep being Batman because he's so fucking good. We still got the Flash coming out this year, man. So I get at least one more dose, one more hit of Batfleck before it's gone forever. But yeah, man. I just love Wonder Woman. This movie was fucking amazing. She's decapitating motherfuckers. I love, of course, this cut focuses a lot more on Cyborg. We finally got to see the football game, which we saw in the original trailer, so it's nice to finally see the scenes of that one. Flash was absolutely amazing. I love what they did with Flash. I love what they did with Cyborg, man. Steppenwolf was awesome in this film, man. When we finally see all the Justice League come together, we get that epic shot with like them all just charging together, man. Fucking legendary, man. Like, yeah, the movie's 4 hours, but hey, man. It works. Obviously, I had to take a break a little midway through the movie because I mean, come on, it's 4 hours. You know, you can't expect me to sit through that whole thing just without any breaks. I had to take a pee. I just had to take a frisk break. But yeah, man, the last, the apocalypse stuff at the end with Jared Leto, and we get to see Batman say, "I'll fucking kill you," fucking awesome. But yeah. It sucks so much because this movie's so awesome, but we know this is probably the last of the Snyderverse. We're probably never going to see this Zack Snyder continue on whatever he had planned left for the DCEU, which sucks, man, but this film, man, fucking banger, man, seriously. Love the Snyder Cut. I was so glad to see it finally come out, and yeah, hopefully one day we get the Snyderverse does return, but I'm not going to hold my breath. But this film, as the last ride for the Snyderverse, fucking awesome, man. Darkseid was fucking awesome. After I saw Darkseid, he was cool, man. And Wonder Woman, like I said, she was fucking awesome. This bitch just like decapitate motherfuckers and shit. So badass. Now, number 2 on my list is, of course, Dune. Yeah, Dune's number 2. So you guys already know it's number 1. But Dune, this movie fucks up. Like, yo, bro. Denis Villeneuve, bro, come on, you don't need to be going this hard, my guy. Like, this man built different, man. This man built different. This movie's fucking fantastic. You guys, if you guys saw my review, you know how much I was singing this movie's praises. I was praising the goddamn costuming in this damn movie, which I never do in my reviews. I never talk about the costuming. Rarely, unless it's a superhero movie, I'm talking about whatever redesign to the costume. Not just general movies, I talk about costume. But Dune had me praised about costuming. The sound design. Oh! God, I wish I got to see this in IMAX, man. Because, the sound design in this movie is spectacular. Hans Zimmer's score. Legendary, man. The performances from Oscar Isaac, Timothy, fantastic. Zendaya was great as well, man. Just an overall banger of the film, man. And I'm super excited for part 2, whatever that comes out, which probably will be 2023, maybe 2024, depending on how it goes down. But either way, man, I'm hyped for the second part of Dune. Can't wait to see it. Now, as always, guys, we're going to get into the Audible Mention. So, first up is Old, M. Night Shyamalan's latest film. I love it. I thought it was once again another fantastic horror film from him. I love what he kind of did with it. With, of course, the bleach aged up people and how they did with it. There was some really creepy shit in this film, especially if you've seen the movie, you guys know what I'm talking about, man. And how he uses body horror in the occasion, man, and just phenomenal film, man, phenomenal. Number 2 is going to be Godzilla vs. Kong. This, as you guys know, was my first movie I got to see in a theater again after the pandemic started. And I went to see it in IMAX, of course, because I had to, man. But this movie, you got to see it in IMAX, man. And bro, this film is just fantastic. And yo, that fucking Man with the Mission song that got attached to this film that I recently found out about, bro, that song is a fucking banger, bro. And the movie itself was spectacular. The fights between, of course, Godzilla and Kong are absolutely amazing, man. I loved it. Who we got to see at the end of the movie was spectacular, and how that was showing up, man. That was awesome, man. The human characters I thought were pretty decent enough, man. And just, yeah, man, this movie was just fucking awesome, man. Especially when we get to see Godzilla versus Kong facing off, man. Bro, that shit fucking lit, man. This was a great film to return to theaters with, and man, was it just entertaining as shit to watch. So that's the second nomination. The next one we have is Mortal Kombat. You guys, I mentioned this in my review. Fucking love this film. One of the best video game movies that have come out, really at all. Fantastic. I love what they did with Sub-Zero, how they used his powers. The guy with the like robot eye, what was his name, Kang or something, Australian, fucking hilarious. He was the highlight of the film. Scorpion, the handful of times we got to see him, man, he was fucking legendary, man. The fights themselves were really great, and I hope that this movie does get a sequel, because I love what they did here, man. I would love to see more of this in a sequel for Mortal Kombat. But yeah, so that's next one. So that's another one of the Audible Mentions, I should say. Next one up we have is Nobody. I actually recently watched this movie yesterday. This is one I actually wanted to catch in theaters, but didn't get the chance to, because of, the move and everything. But this movie was fucking awesome, man. Like, I was shocked with how good this movie is. Like, first off, you have Doc Brown in this movie wielding a fucking shotgun. That alone made this a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. But the movie itself is amazing. The fights themselves and the action sequence are actually very well shot. Like, I would say they're not as good as the ones in John Wick, but they're comparable to the fights and the action sequences in John Wick. As I said, not as good as John Wick, but they're comparable, which I was surprised by. I didn't think the fight scenes would be that as good as they were, because, the guy they have the lead man in the movie isn't Keanu Reeves. But hey, the fights themselves are fantastic, man. I love what they did here. And we also got to see fucking Michael Ironside also is in this movie as well, the voice of Sam Fisher. So that was hyped to see when we ever got to see him, man. And I love this movie. The ending was spectacular, man. And yeah, but just the overall concept of this movie is just batshit insanity. John Wick, but if John Wick was an average Joe, man, it's fucking amazing, man. Like I said, the action sequences were fantastic. And we're seeing Doc Brown out there wielding a shotgun and just snapping motherfuckers' necks, man. I mean, come on, you can't beat that, man. This movie's entertaining as shit, and definitely recommend you guys check this movie out if you guys have not already. Next one up is House of Gucci. This movie fucking awesome, man. Like, I mentioned this in a review, but I'll say it again. Lady Gaga gives like her best performance here, man. Seriously, her performance, I would say she should, if not win the Oscar for Best Actress, definitely be in that contest, man. She was spectacular. I don't know if I would say, it's definitely a toss between her and the lead woman from The Last Duel, which one I thought was better. But bro, both of them gave both equally amazing performances, man. And Adam Driver was amazing as always. Jared Leto stole the fucking show anytime he was on screen, man. And yeah, man, definitely check out House of Gucci if you guys have not already. Fucking fantastic. Next up we have is Halloween Kills. This movie slaps. As a fan of the Halloween genre, as Halloween and slasher films, this was just a good fun time to watch, man. I mentioned in my review. I love what they did with Michael. I love the kills this film. Like I mentioned in my review, I wasn't a big fan of what they were doing around the middle point with like that guy that everyone thought was Michael Myers, but when he looks absolutely nothing like Michael Myers. But besides that, man, I love this film. It was entertaining as hell, and the kills were fucking awesome, man. And I like that they actually brought back Tommy Doyle back, along with a couple other characters from the first Halloween films. Cool to see them kind of return and see their older selves. And apparently, we're on the screen. Apparently, they were actually originally going to get Paul Rudd to come back as Tommy Doyle because he played Tommy Doyle in like Halloween 6, which, man, that would have been entertaining and interesting in itself to see if they actually did that, man. But the guy they ended up getting to play Tommy Doyle, he was great as well, man. Jamie Lee Curtis was fantastic as always for the handful of times we got to see her, man. This was just a fantastic horror film, man, and I'm definitely super excited to see Halloween Ends and how this whole trilogy is going to end off. So yeah. Next up we have is Free Guy. This one is another one I saw recently. This movie was just hilarious, man. Like, I did not think I would enjoy this movie as much as I did, but yo, the whole thing with the gaming thing, Taika Waititi being the fucking villain in the movie, Ryan Reynolds was absolutely entertaining as hell, and bro, all the little Easter eggs in this movie had me dying. This movie is just entertaining, and I definitely recommend you guys check this one out if you guys have not already, man. It's just, this movie fucking slaps. Especially if you're a gamer like me, this movie is entertaining, man. This one's fun. But yeah, next up we have is Cherry. I finally watched this one recently when I got back. This movie's amazing, man. Like, yo, Tom Holland probably gives his best performance in this movie. It's a toss-up between this and No Way Home for me, man, but yo, he was spectacular in this film. The other lead, who you guys may remember from Big Time Rush, I knew she looked familiar. I was watching the movie, I was like, yo, this girl looks familiar. What do I know from? Looked her up, and I'm like, oh, right. She was in Big Time Rush. That's something that could change the way you look at this movie in certain scenes when you have that in your head. But she was amazing, man. The rest of the performances were fantastic as well. The scenes at boot camp were hilarious, man, especially with the drill instructors. Dick with ears! You're Dick with ears! I love just, the Russo's direction and everything. You guys know how much I love them from Infinity War and Endgame. I thought the editing in this movie was also pretty good as well. Some cool transitions and kind of some cool stuff they did there, man. And yeah, man, this was just a really good and fun film to watch. Also, like, some of the little Easter eggs you notice, one thing I noticed is that one of the banks said shitty bank on it. That was fucking hilarious. And man, like I said before, Tom Holland in this film is fucking spectacular, which is weird because I've heard a lot of people mention it, especially when I saw this when this movie first started coming out. The reviews were not so positive on this film. A lot of people didn't like it. And then when I mentioned this, I was watching it. My man Platt was like, "Bro, this film is a 10 out of 10. This film is a masterpiece, man." I wouldn't go that far, man, but this was a spectacular film, and I definitely recommend you guys check it out. But yeah, I did find it weird how everyone didn't like this movie, and then I saw, I'm like, yo, this movie's fucking awesome. What the hell's everyone on about? But yeah, man, fucking love this movie. Tom Holland probably gives his best performance in here. Yeah. Seriously, check us out if you guys got Apple TV. But thankfully I did, because I had a free trial when I got my iPhone, so that was nice. And the final one we have is Don't Breathe 2. This movie I was excited for because I really enjoyed the first one. And I was hyped to see when this one got announced. One thing that kind of surprised me, and I guess it was kind of obvious in the trailer, this is just a full-blown slasher movie. Like, the first one was more of a suspenseful type horror film, with these crooks breaking this man's home, and they're trying to get out of there while he's hunting them down and everything, man. Well, the sequel is just a straight up, no nonsense horror slasher film, man. Just giving you the guts, the blood, the gore, the kills, everything, man. And it's fucking awesome, man. Seriously, if you like your horror films, I can understand why some people who maybe saw this movie don't end up liking it more as the first one, because they may prefer that more suspenseful horror way the first one went versus the more gory slasher version that the sequel is. But me personally, I think I would actually say I like the sequel more. That's mostly because I like slasher movies more. That's just me. But yeah, fucking this one. Check it out if you guys haven't already. And finally, number one is, of course, to the surprise of absolutely nobody, Spider-Man No Way Home. This movie fucking slaps, man. I don't really got much to say here because I basically said everything I had to say in my 40-minute long review, which, hey, this fucking top 10 might end up being 40 minutes or something. Haven't checked time. I'll find when I edit this one, but this movie's amazing. Tom Holland, like I mentioned before, probably gives his best performance here. If not, it's Cherry. He was great. Zendaya was spectacular. I love that I get to finally say a movie that MJ and Peter are the heart of a Spider-Man film, which we haven't gotten since the Raimi films. Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Electro, all the other Spidey villains, they are all spectacular in the film. Obviously, the third act is amazing and legendary, man, and I was grinning from beginning to end, man. I don't want to give out spoilers, but bro, this movie is just so fucking good, man. Legit, just watch my review, man. I said everything, said my piece, and I said everything I possibly can about this movie in there, man. Just a phenomenal film. Without my favorite Spider-Man film, my favorite MCU film, my favorite film from Phase 4, man. Check it out. It's fucking awesome, man. Anyway, so yeah, man, Tom Holland, yeah, I basically said everything I had in my review, man, but you guys already know. I love this movie. It was so good, man. The ending was spectacular as well, man, and how they did that, man, and everything, just, So excited to see what they have in store for Tom Holland for his college years. That's going to be interesting, man. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of my top 13 films, my top 13 movies of 2021. As always, guys, leave your thoughts down in the comments. Do you agree with my list? Do you not? What were your top 10 films of the year, man? And were you someone that preferred Dune more as your favorite film? Because that's what I'm going to be rooting for the Oscars this year, Dune, because we know it's going to be sweeping the awards. Word of the street is that No Way Home might get a Best Picture nom. I'm not holding my breath for that, but if it happens, I'm going to be rooting for No Way Home. I'm just be real with y'all. But yeah, man, leave your thoughts down in the comments. What are your favorite movies to the list? And yeah, man, that's all I got to say. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you like it. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.
せの夜明けに隠せの